All right. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming here tonight. This is a special event, and it's a great privilege for us. So I'm really excited. For those of you that have not been here before, perhaps, or that are joining us online, my name is Jason. I'm the pastor here at Calvary Chapel, Boulder City. So welcome to you in person, or welcome to you joining us online, whether it's live or later. But we're glad to have everyone joining us in all the ways that you are. I want to get some housekeeping out of the way first, especially if you've never been here before. One, please make sure your cell phone is silenced. Two, we have two bathrooms available. One is conveniently located right here in the middle of the sanctuary. The other is down the hallway and on the right-hand side. Three, if at some point you'd like to go get yourself a water or a coffee, feel free. This is a casual thing tonight. Help yourself to water in the fridge, and there's coffee available in the lobby as well. We are going to have two main parts to tonight. One is that our friend Marco is going to come and share, and after that, we will just have the second main part, which is going to be Q&A. At that time, I'll hop up again, and we are able to live stream this and archive it. So I'm going to run around with the wireless. We want to make sure the questions get on the live stream too. So when we get to that point, we'll do some Q&A, and I'll get in real good shape. Sound good? Right now, let's pray. Father in heaven, thank you. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe. You are good and great, and there is no one like you. We come before you tonight and ask for you to move among us, Lord, and lead us as you see fit. It is your will that we want to be done. It is you, God, that we want to serve with all of our heart, Lord, because you're worthy of good and faithful servanthood. And so thank you for tonight. In Jesus' name. Amen. Right now, it's a great pleasure for me to introduce our friend, Marco Moreno.
Thank you. Everybody can hear me, right? Okay. So, good evening, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. First time. It's a nice, small city. I drove, I think, to Hoover Dam once, but never thought I'm going to stop here, but here we are. I'm 51 years old. I'm married. I have 3 kids. Born and raised in Israel. Jewish. I think I'm the first non-Christian believer that has this initiative of Christians and Israelis. We'll talk about that. Served 25 years in the Israeli army. I'm Lieutenant Colonel, retired. It was a long journey. Some will say it was like 50 years because 25 years days and 25 years nights, so it's 50 overall. I came to speak with you guys about Genesis Israel, but we cannot do that without talking about the war, right? Everybody wants to hear about the war. We also want to hear about the war, by the way, and to understand what happened. We start with that. We go, next thing will be the relationship between Christians and Israelis, and we'll wrap it up with Genesis Israel, okay? Sounds good? Good. We have 2-hour session, so no one can leave before 8 if you want, okay? So I'm going to speak for an hour. I'm going to leave an hour for Q&A. No one can leave. Okay, that's good. So let's start October 6th. October 6th, the head of the Israeli Shabak, which is our kind of FBI, is getting intel from his guys in the south part of Israel that something is going on in Gaza. Okay, they woke up themselves. He went to the office. It was Friday night. They're usually at home. They don't work. He came to his headquarters in Tel Aviv around 11 p.m., October 6th. Heard the intel, decided to walk up the Israeli chief of staff. They had a discussion. The Israeli head of army intelligence didn't walk up. He was busy somewhere. I'm saying it's cynical, okay, but that's the reality. There were 3 major intel events. I can talk only about two of them because the third one wasn't published yet. Once it will be, so you guys will. First, they said, we are seeing all of the head of Hamas, the leaders, are going down to the tunnels. This is a sign that something is going to happen. The second sign, the technology saw 1,000 Israeli phones, cell phones, were light up in like everybody, 1,000 cell phones in Gaza, which that means, you guys are not from the terror field, that's a sign to something is going to happen. The third sign, I cannot share it yet, but it was also a major one. They had a discussion between themselves, and they decided it was 1 a.m. October 6th. They said, let's talk again, 4 a.m. October 6th. At that call, there was also the head of the Army South Command and the Brigadier General that is the commander of the Gaza Strip, Army guys. So Army guys and Shabak. By the way, who is responsible is the Army guys, not the Shabak. Okay, they are responsible. They had the last call 4 a.m. They decided that what they have as intel, it's not a sign for attack. It's kind of a drill, never mind, it's not the details are very complicated, but I'm just giving you the headlines. And they decide, okay, let's renew and talk again 8 a.m. in the morning, which October 7 now. 6:29, Hamas launch. I don't know which word to describe it. A massive attack against Israel. Can we have the map of Gaza, please? Massive attack towards the south part of Israel. I don't know who, I know someone was here in Israel, spoke with me, I don't know about the rest, but that's the Gaza Strip. It's like small sausage, not a big place, by the way, okay? It's like 60 kilometers, which is 45 miles, right? Long and wide, can be a mile and a half too. It's a very small strip. Hamas 6/29 launched a massive rocket attacks all over Israel, almost all over Israel, all the way to Tel Aviv. And at the same time, we have a fence of 60-ish kilometers. Each kilometer, they broke the fence, almost in 60 places, and went into the south, kibbutzim, and other settlements around Gaza Strip, Israeli side. Three waves, 6/29, 1,500 terrorists, 9 a.m., 1,500, that became 3,000 terrorists, and 11 a.m., another 1,500. Total 4,500 terrorists that caught the Israeli army intelligence, as we understand, by surprise. At the same time, we have, on the morning of October 7, 2 battalions deployed, controlling the Gaza Strip. 2 battalions, it's like 800, 900, more or less, warriors, and 6 tanks. Only 6. Okay? 1 platoon. That's the normal forces you have deployed over Israel. It's not a big deal when it's normal. There's kids here, right? So Hamas at October 7 butchered, raped, beheaded almost 500 soldiers and 1,200 civilians. Kidnapped 249, right? I don't remember the numbers. Yeah, 249 civilians and soldiers, but the majority are civilians. Guys, this is a big, huge event in Israel. You guys don't have the tools to understand it, but let me try to describe it. In Israel, the army before October 7 was almost everything. That was the only insurance we had. Okay? That's the reason that Israelis, majority of them, gives their best sons and daughters to the army when they become 18. That happens every 3 months. That's the reason that we give the biggest budget to the army as a nation. In Israel, when a soldier eats in a restaurant, people will pay on him. If a soldier will stand on the street hijacking one like a ride, people will stop and take him. That's the culture. The army was our biggest insurance. And we had like an unwritten agreement with them. The agreement, I'm talking as a civilian now. The agreement is, we gave you what we describe, and your job is to protect this country. Very simple. That's the covenant. This covenant was broken on October 7. For the first time, by the way. In the history of Israel, this covenant was broken. It's even worse than Yom Kippur War. I don't know if you guys are familiar with wars in Israel, but Yom Kippur War, civilians weren't in danger. That was border issues. From that day, we launched a war against Gaza, Hamas, of course, not Gaza, Hamas, which held 2.5 million people. It's still going. Just, I have a difference of hours, but yesterday, 6 soldiers died in the Gaza Strip. I'm going to talk about the north also. On October 8th, Hezbollah, which is our neighbor from the north, from Lebanon, started to shoot missiles on the north part of Israel, which led to an evacuation of almost 80,000 people, Israelis, which today we know it was a mistake, but that's to be clever after it happened. But in October 8th, everybody was hysterical that what happened here might happen in the north, so they evacuated settlements, kibbutzim, even a big city, 2 big cities like Kiryat Shmona and Ma'alot. And we have 80,000 Israelis are refugees in their own country. That's still going on. Hezbollah shot till now almost 8,000 missiles, killed 41 people. 18 of them are soldiers, the rest are civilians, among them 12 kids. 3 weeks ago in Majd al-Shams, which is a small village next to the Syrian border. And we don't see the end of it. So that's the war. We have 700 soldiers died till now. Thousands are injured, thousands badly injured. More than thousands are traumatic. It's a big war. It cost a lot of money. But for the first time, I think in the history of Israel, everybody supports the war. Left and right. I don't know how much you guys are monitoring the Israeli media. It can be complicated sometimes, like the American media, it's the same. It's okay. But for the first time, except of, small, group of people that everything is politics for them, the majority of Israelis support the war. Majority of the Israelis. Usually in the war, our last wars, in a couple of weeks, month or two, starts riots or demonstration against the war. It's enough now. It happens, but it's very politically, but it's not the majority of the Israelis. The majority of the Israelis understand what happened, regardless if they are left or right. By the way, all these places, Be'eri, Nahal Oz, Kfar Aza, all these places are very radical left-wing in Israel, just so that you know. Okay? They were very supporters of Palestinians' rights and stuff. I'm not getting into politics here, okay? I'm just stating facts. Like, brought kids from Gaza to be, even some of the people that survived the October 7th said when they interact with the terrorists, they say, hey, we took care of you. Like, we know you. But I think today, after October 7th, people understand in Israel that we have an issue that is religious. It's not political, with our enemy, in this case, Hamas, which is a Muslim Sunni terror organization, okay? It doesn't have nothing to do with the two-state solution. It has nothing to do with from the river to the sea. Palestine will be free. Believe me, no one, whoever says it doesn't know where is the river, it doesn't know where is the sea. By the way, it's the Jordan River, if you want to know. You guys should know, but I don't know about the rest. Nothing to do with that. Just religious war. Simple as that. They came and they butchered, raped. Kids are here, so I have, in front of their parents, because we are Jews, not because we are left wing or right wing, or we support Netanyahu or don't. It's not the story. They don't care. Believe me, they don't care about the legal reform that was a big thing in Israel before. They don't understand it. Even Israelis don't understand it. So nevertheless, they understand it. The Gaza Strip, just to give you some details, we left the Gaza Strip in 2006. Army and settlements that we had in the Gaza Strip. It was a political move. Half of the people didn't like it, half like it, but it happened. So they had, if they talk about, by the way, the two-state solution or a state for the Palestinians, they had it here. No army, no settlements. They got billions of dollars, by the way. Billions. Just instead of, putting in education or infrastructure, they built tunnels and weapons. They had a cross point with Egypt, which from there they can travel to the rest of the world. They had everything. They have 36 hospitals. By the way, the most advanced one that became terror headquarters. Okay, so from that day, it's almost a year now. Not almost, it's going to be a year. We are in a war. It's escalating in Gaza, meaning the IDF is, I don't know, let's say around 60, 70% from Hamas army guys are dead. The rest will be dead. And the infrastructure is almost done. But the problem that we still have 109 hostage. 105, you have 4 hours. Yeah, I'm sorry. No, it's not Beseder. We need to remember each one of them. We have 104 Israelis still in Gaza. The youngest one is a baby, 1 year old. The oldest is 86. They are not alive, everyone, but it doesn't matter. We have a duty as a country, as a nation, as an army, as whatever you want, to bring them back. Problem is that Hamas doesn't want to give them back. He wants, but in conditions that I think Israel cannot roll with that. Because the Hamas condition, I don't know if you guys are in the details, it's a lot of fake and not fake, but what Hamas wants is to Israel stop the war, withdraw from Philadelphia Road, which is here. That's the border between, like from here to here, the border with Egypt, which they built tunnels to bring all the weapons and stuff, and rebuilding Gaza again, and releasing, I'm assuming, the majority of terrorists that are in prisons, and it's a very high-profile terrorist. In a way, Hamas say, you guys take the white flag and surrender. You lost the war. If Israel will accept it. By the way, if we do that, they will not release all the hostage. It's not hold the hostage. It's a 5 years ride. Why? Hamas is not an idiot. He knows if he release hold the hostage, Israel say, okay, forget about the agreement, we start over. No, they will keep some cards until, the Israeli government is not accepting these terms. By the way, the majority of the Israeli people don't accept these terms. If you ask, they will say no. We didn't lost 700 soldiers for what? More, it's 500 in October 7 and it's 700 till now. For what? To return to October 6 in 2 years? It's so complicated because in one hand you have hostage, in the other hand you have families that lost their kids in war, and you have soldiers and you have political issues in Israel, like you have political issues all over the place. But let's see what will happen with that. Still, we have a big thing in the north. Now, 3 weeks ago, more or less, maybe 4, Hezbollah, I'm going to the north now. Hezbollah shot a missile into Majd al-Shams. It's a small Druze village in the north part of Israel, killed 12 kids, butchered them, by the way. Young kids that playing in a playground. Badly injured, almost 30. Some of them are still in hospitals. Israel, as a reaction, killed Hezbollah chief of staff. It's not a chief of staff, but for the sake of this discussion, it's kind of a chief of staff, Fuad Shukr, in Beirut, which is the capital of Lebanon. At the same time, after a couple of hours, someone killed Ismail Haniyeh, which is Hamas political leader, in Tehran. Israel took responsibility on the chief of staff of Hezbollah, didn't take responsibility on Ismail Haniyeh, but we can assume that, from that day till now, we were in a window of what Iran and Hezbollah will retaliate, which is pretty weird between us, but it's happened. Shabbat evening, Shabbat coming to Sunday, the Israeli army saw that Hezbollah is going to do something, probably shoot a couple of missiles and drone towards next to Herzliya area. It's called the Glilot. It's only published, so I can tell it. Glilot area, it's next to Herzliya. It's a place that the headquarters of the Mossad is there and other bases. And the army launched a preemptive strike in Lebanon, like 100 airplanes, targeted something like 300 targets in Lebanon in a couple of minutes in order to eliminate the threat that they're going to shoot. Hezbollah shoot, not a big deal. Long story short, all sides wrapped it up. We're back to 5 minutes before the event in Majd al-Shams. Meaning strategically, nothing changed. 80, 100,000 people from the north are still refugees in their own country. They don't know when they're going back home. Hezbollah is still shooting on a daily basis. Some rockets here, some a drone here, some, kind of. And it's becoming normal, which is bad. Because the south was the same. Because from 2006 to October 7, that was the reality in the south. From time to time, they would shoot missiles, and it became normal. And then October 7 came. But at least on the south, I'm not saying it was good what happened, but people weren't displaced. So we don't know what's going to happen. We are waiting on our government to take a decision regarding the north, which the decision should be strike Hezbollah. Because people will not go back to their homes in the north so long Hezbollah is on the border. Why? Because they don't want October 7 in their home. I live in the north, by the way. Now there is a lot of talks, I don't know, about the Biden administration, helping, not helping, supporting, not supporting, Rafah, all these stories, we don't care. Really, we don't care. I don't care. I think Israel is pretty close to take a decision without taking into consideration everything else. Maybe take into consideration your own people that want to go back home. Let me ask you guys a question, okay? What do you think would happen in America? You know, Israel has been saying we are doing genocide in Gaza, etc., etc. Till now, numbers of Hamas, not our numbers, of Hamas, 40,000 people died in Gaza. 2.5 million. 40,000 people, almost a year. Okay? The army says that 70% of them, 75, are Hamas terrorists. What do you think will happen if, let's say, in Texas, Mexico will shoot missiles on Houston, just like that in the morning? At the same time, we go in, kidnap, rape, beheaded babies, rape kids in front of their parents, put babies in oven and cook them. What do you think what will be the American response? I'm assuming that Nagasaki and Hiroshima was a child play, because Mexico will be vanished in 5 minutes, right? All of Mexico will be vanished in 5 minutes. And no one will say genocide, believe me. But we don't care. We are not politicians. That's the beauty of it. But that's the reality. Okay, that's the war. It's a big thing. It's a big wound. A big question is in Israel, what the hell happened on October 7th? Where was the army before, like October 6th? Where were the intelligence services, which are, I'm telling you from personal experience, are the best in the world? Where were they? Okay, they failed. Where was the army? Where was the Air Force? I don't know, everyone. Like Be'eri, for instance, Be'eri, the army arrived 1 p.m. That's almost more than 6 hours after the attack began. Now, Israel, it's not a big place, guys. Okay? If you want to drive like from a base, you know, you hit the road, half an hour, you be in Be'eri. It's not America. It's small. Those are big questions are being asked, but it's in our gut, you know. We have a gut ache, but we don't talk about it now. Why? Because our kids are in war. Once it will be finished, we will talk about it. And we will get answers. We will know what happened. Why? How come? That's for that. Now let's talk about Israelis and Christians. Upon my retirement, I was invited to speak in a Jewish conference in Jerusalem. It was the 100 biggest Jewish organization, something. And I came and spoke about the project I had the privilege to lead, which is called the Good Neighborhood Project in Syria. Let's not go into that. But you can look it up and see what it was. And I spoke. In the end of it, came a guy to me and told me, introduced himself. He said, "I'm Pastor Mario Brumnik from Florida." I told him, "What's a pastor?" He said, "You know, a pastor, it's like a preach." I said, "But you don't have this white thing here." He said, no, we are something else. So I understand I'm an idiot. By the way, the common Israeli like me, just to let you know, if you ask, you say Christians, they will say something related Jesus and the Pope. And you know who changed it? Trump. You know why? Because when he came to office, and we knew he's a businessman. Like we knew he doesn't care about Israel. Okay? It was obvious. But he came to office, and then he moved the embassy to Jerusalem and withdrew from the nuclear agreement with Iran. acknowledged the sovereignty of the Golan Heights and they call it the Abraham Accord deal. Like he was all over Israel, right? So Israelis started to ask, what the hell is, why he's doing it? Then evangelicals came to surface. I mean, publicly. Because until that time, there was a lot of evangelicals coming, tours and stuff, but let's say the majority of Israel wasn't aware of it. So, long story short, Mario said, okay, he said, listen, we want to work with the army in the Golan Heights, because the army was looking for ministries that, or whoever wants to come, to help in this good neighborhood project. And I said, yeah. I thought this is like wasting my time, and wanted me to be his guide in the Golan Heights. Anyway, we met, and then he said, no, it's not me, it's someone else. I wasn't aware of all the connection in the Christian world, the networking. So we had like a conference call. An American conference call. You know what's an American conference call? It's a lot of talking, no action items. It was a lot of people, pam, 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 pam. And I said, wait. My English was very limited that time. And there was a guy, Mansour. I said, Mansour? Ooh. Who are you? And he said, I'm Iranian. I said, what do you mean you live in Iran? It was like an American accent. He said, yeah, I'm an American, but I live in Iran. And I was, all the lights are, I said, I'm going to get in trouble with those guys. In any case, he's leading the underground church in Iran. So a ministry came, a small one called Frontier Alliance International. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them, FAI. I thought they are FBI. And in the beginning, I remember the guy that founded FAI came and I thought, where do you live? He said, I live in Iraq, Kurdistan. Oh, I'm from Florida. And I said, where's your wife and kids? He said, they are with me. So what do you mean they are with you? Are you not balanced? Something here not balanced? Or are you on drugs? Why do you take a woman and the kids to Iraq? He said, this is who we are. This is how we operate. I said, okay. And that was me not understanding. Any case, we started a beautiful project of launching nurses and volunteers. It was with the Israeli army. It was very nice, very inspiring. I think it was inspiring for all the people that were involved to see young, mainly ladies, by the way, Christians going into Syria without fear. And this project lasts for a year and a half. And it ended because Syrians took over the Golan Heights. Syrians said, never mind, but it ended. And from that time, I built relationship with the ministry and get to know them. And for me, it was a very nice experience to find out that there is a small group of people which call Christian believers that really care about Israel because of faith, which is okay. By the way, in the beginning, I told Dalton, the guy that came, I said, listen, I have 3 things to tell you. First of all, we didn't kill Jesus. It's the Muslims. But he said there weren't any Muslims that time. I said, don't let the facts confuse you. We are in Israel, don't let the facts confuse you. Second, I told him, if I understand the difference between Jews and Christians, if I take it to the end, it's who is the Messiah, right? The Jews will say, we don't know. Once he will come, we will know. Right. You guys say it's Jesus. You say, right. I say, okay, I have a solution. Wait, no argument. Once Jesus will come back, we'll ask him, Jesus, is it your first time here or second time? According to the answer, we know who was right. You say, you're right. Done. Let's wait to the end of times. I'm with the ministry for 7 years. One of my conclusions is that the relationship between a Christians, believer, and Israelis have I don't know how to say it, have different forms and shape. It can be tours, which is great, by the way, because Israel needs a lot of tourism. It's good money. You guys buy T-shirts in the old city of Jerusalem. You pay $400 for it, and it helps stimulate the local economy. And you interact with the Messianic guy or with the Christian Palestinian chauffeur bus, and then you think you know Israel, and you don't. And there are ministries that are doing whatever they're doing. For instance, I met someone that told me, I asked him, what do you do here? He said, we do playgrounds. I said, what do you mean playgrounds? He said, we do playgrounds for kids. And I told him, who needs playgrounds? What do you think, we are Africa? This is a superpower state. We don't need playgrounds. But if you're good with that, cool. My conclusion is that there isn't any mechanism that really builds relationship between Israelis and Christian believers. There isn't. Actual relationship, meaningful, lasting relationship. A word of warning. We, Genesis, we are not in the business of converting, okay? It's not that. Others can do it. It's, by the way, they are breaking the law if they do it. But we are not. We are building meaningful, we want to build meaningful relationship between Christian believers and Israelis. Not by coming to a tour, which is okay. Just, we have a lot of thoughts of projects, and also another thing that represents, we work with the authorities in Israel. We're not undercover. I know there's ministries that like the undercover stuff in Israel. It's not us. If you want undercover, you're in the wrong place. It's on the table. Okay? It's building relationship with Kiryat Shmona community, which is a small town being hammered now by Hezbollah, or Chatzor Aglit, or Sea of Galilee, or Tiberias, and it will be all over Israel with the time. How it would look like? It will be a group of Christians coming to Israel for a season. It can be a month, 2, 3, depends what we do. Working together, hanging together, eating, do whatever they want together, and we don't care what will happen. We don't own it. It's not ours. We're just the doorman perspective. In the beginning, FAI guys told me, we need to introduce you to someone. I said, who? He said, the gatekeeper. I said, wow, the gatekeeper. Ooh, sounds very dramatic. I said, what do you mean the gatekeeper? He said, there is a guy in Israel that everything comes through him. So I said, I have 2 questions. Why there is a gate? And why there has to be a gatekeeper? I own Israel, you own, no one owns Israel, it's for everyone. It's like ancient 3,000 years ago. Okay, how can you be a gatekeeper? Who gave you the right? So in order to avoid politics, ego, and we are not the gatekeeper. You will not see Genesis signs all over the place. We might have T-shirts, because I know T-shirts is important. Maybe T-shirts, but not, signs, Genesis Israel. No, we are. Genesis Israel, it's a project created by Israelis to provide a platform and access mechanism to build meaningful and lasting relationship. Okay, lasting relationship. It's not a one-time date between Christians and Israelis. We will provide practical ways for the global Christian community to stand in solidarity with the people. In the beginning, like a year ago, before the war, I said, how can we brand it? I'm going to now share with you secrets. And I said, you know what? Crisis respond. Why? I know Christians are all about crisis respond. And Israelis also are about crisis response. So let's do like a mutual training in Israel for crisis response. And then October 7 happened, and it was a massive crisis response. But the problem was, we weren't ready to roll. Like if someone will come land in Bangor and say, hey, here I am. So what? Where do you go? With who do you speak? Who will get you? Who will? It doesn't work this way. Israel is pretty organized, especially in crisis. After October 7, I don't know if it's so true, but now we don't need the ticket. The crisis response ticket was especially for the Israelis, not for the Christian community. Because remember, the Israelis are very suspicious. I can be honest, right? In every group, I'm assuming that will come, there will be a wacko or two. That happens. I saw it. Okay? Now, Israelis will not be so patient for it. Okay? If someone will start handing flyers and start shouting in the street Christ, and it's okay, but if you want to build relationship, it's not the way to do it. So I hope we have a system to process it and to see who is legit in the beginning. And because I'm aiming to everyone in the end. I don't care, like you cannot limit it like for only the legit people. Everybody should go. But once the relationship will be strong and meaningful, so it will, So the Israelis are suspicious. Why the hell Christians care about Israel? That's a question. Now, if you go and tell someone, you are the chosen people, they will say, okay, but what do you want from me? Chosen people. I don't go to the synagogue even. I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't read the Bible. So that's our job as Genesis, administration to grease it in the beginning until it will roll. We are very small. It's like 4 or 5 of us and a couple of regional directors. I met Ernie when we look for regional directors. I said, let's do regional like in the army. Regional. And then I looked on the map. I said, wow, America is big. Like Ernie is responsible on a region of 100 times of Israel. But I said, let's do regional, and then we met Ernie and others, and they came, spent some time with us in Israel, saw what's going on, understand what's going on, understand the needs. Israel is pretty broken now. People are very broken now. And because of October 7. And we have a lot of issues in Israel. Some of them are political, some of them are not. Well, I think the beautiful thing about being a Christian believer, it's faith. It's above everything. You guys don't care about politics. It's a long journey, right? If it's Netanyahu or not Netanyahu, if it's Biden or Trump or I don't know, who cares? Maybe you cares, but by the way, in Boulder City, it's Democrat, red. Red? Good. Red is good. Like Israelis, they love Trump, okay? Don't be mad on me. We love Trump. We do too. I know, you love, I was in Boston.
I see other side. Something in the water.
No, I'm just happy to see that the American politics is so complicated like in Israel. Diversity. Yeah. But, yeah, who cares? So that's our story. That's who we are. That's where we want to go. We're going to be big. This is the second presentation, by the way, ever. First one was in the heart of the Democrat Party in Boston, which was nice. I'm a right-wing in Israel, okay, just to be honest. Not a radical right. You know what's the difference between right and left in Israel? You know what's the difference? Even Israelis don't understand the difference. You know what? I will explain what the difference. Yitzhak Rabin, you heard the name? He was our prime minister. He was assassinated by a radical right-wing guy. But he was like the head of the left camp in Israel. His memorial institution is located in Tel Aviv, overlooking our local Disneyland. Begin Menachem Begin, which was the head of the right wing in Israel, his institution is located in Jerusalem, overlooking the old city of David. That's one. Second, the main thing in Israeli thing, left and right, it's the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. That's the deal. Left in Israel doesn't have nothing to do with economy. We don't vote. You guys vote here for economy. We don't care about economy. Like economy can be sucks in Israel, no one cares. And it is. Or we don't care about rights of gays community. It's not us. It's not or abortion or immigration or no, like in America. It's only the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Left will say how Israel will look if we give territory back to the Palestinians. The right will say no. That's Israel. It's Judah and Samaria and. That's the deal. The rest. How we got there? I don't remember. Okay. Q&A. We got there. It was in my mind. Q&A.
All right.
The first one that will ask is getting a free ticket to Gaza. To visit the tunnel.
Oh boy. Larry raises his hand.
And Ken.
Okay.
Well, live stream, I forgot about this.
Real first question. Who wants to go? This side gets to go first. Who's up? If you want to come up, you get on the mic. I know Larry wants the tunnel. I'm not going to let him go.
There is two. There's one that already blew up or one before. It depends.
Yeah. Okay.
Is there a spiritual component to the left versus right like there is in the United States?
Yes. Yes. Right is more spiritual, more religious. Left is not. There is a big thing now going on in Israel, for instance. Before October 7, we have Yom Kippur. You guys familiar with Yom Kippur? We fast. There's 2 days we fast, but the majority of Israeli fast on Yom Kippur.
We need that.
Yeah, it's good. We all do. And Yom Kippur, it's a big deal, you pray. Even if you don't go to synagogue like me every day or every Shabbat, you don't practice it, in Yom Kippur you go. It's like cultural thing. Tel Aviv, which is like New York City, said, no, don't do it on the streets. Now, Yom Kippur, everything is shut down. Everything. No cars, nothing. So you can walk the roads, the streets. And people want, to go to the street. They can pray on the street. It's a very nice, it always happened. Tel Aviv, which is like very left-wing city, said, no, it's not appropriate because the man, or Bologna, never mind. But yeah, there is a thing between left and right regarding, I'm not saying left is wrong or right is right, but there is a thing. If I will ask the left, they will answer, okay, I'm liberal, I don't want that, and which is okay, live your life. But the right will say, but we are Jewish, this is the Jewish state. How come we cannot pray here? Which is crazy when you think about it, right?
Just for my information, maybe, but I've heard kind of through the grapevine that the leading military head of Israel is a Christian. Is that true or false?
The chief of staff, the Israel chief of staff?
I'm not sure if it's chief of staff or not, but a very high up general.
I'm not familiar with that. I'm not. What do you mean, like a Christian? Is he hiding Christian? Like Messianic? I'm not, I don't know. Maybe. But I don't know.
Who else has questions? Raise your hand. Oh no, you have to wait.
Hi. So we know the United Nations is supposed to be enforcing the 18 kilometers, if I have the correct measurement.
1701 in Lebanon, you mean?
Yeah, so how Israel wants to push them back behind the Litani River. Can you help me understand that? What's the rationale behind that 18 kilometers that's going to make the Israelis feel safe to be returned to their home? Because we know Hezbollah has, 150,000, 200,000 rockets is the assessment, I believe, correct?
Thank you for the question. I see you feel it's baloney, right? All the 18 kilometers. You feel the BS around it, which is, you're right. Every talk about getting into a, I don't know how to say it in English, like an agreement with Hezbollah, it doesn't worth the paper we sign on. Why? Do you know a terror organization that will hold the agreement? For instance, 18 kilometers from the Israeli border to the Litani River, which is a river that 90% of the Israel doesn't know where is it, by the way. Everybody say Litani, Litani. Believe me, no one knows where is it. But it's like a narrative now. It's all fake. 75% of Hezbollah power lives between the border and the Litani. So do you think they will leave their home? One. Second, all of this area that we talk about, if you take, for instance, what we saw as tunnels in Gaza, it's a child game comparing to the tunnels in the south part of Lebanon. Okay? Take what I'm saying for granted. Meaning, if they will not be up, they will be down. So, any talk about an agreement with Hezbollah, it doesn't matter if it's the UN or the Biden administration or the Trump administration tomorrow, or Kamala Harris, I don't know. BS, total BS, fake, because if the IDF will not go into Lebanon, not only airstrikes, boots on the ground, clean up the south part of Lebanon, blow up all the tunnels and all the massive warehouse they have with missiles, it's not safe to go back home. Simple as that. Everything else, fake. Unfortunately, our leadership talks the same. That's the reason you are confused. Why? I don't know. Maybe they are tired, maybe they don't want to go into war in Lebanon, I don't know. But intel and details, the reality is something else. The UN, by the way, you know, we are live stream, so it took them like 3 months, 4, maybe 5 to say they were raped on October 7. You know, Hamas filmed everything. There is videos of everything. You don't see it, but I saw it. There's videos of everything. What was published, like the 60 Minutes or 45 Minutes movie, which was shown to political, or, you know, I don't know who, that's the easiest movies. Hamas filmed everything for his own interest. So it's evidence. It's not like we heard or someone said she had it. It's filmed, everything. And they saw it, by the way. The UN. Yeah.
You guys are aware of that. They had their GoPros when they came across. They had their
and also
cell
in
phones.
their cell phones.
Yeah. I saw the 45-minute version. They came through Las Vegas and showed it to some organizational leaders and some pastors. And that was, like you said.
That's the soft version,
right.
believe me.
And that was nearly impossible to stomach.
Yeah.
And like you said, that was the PG. Joel, I'm coming to you. You still have to wait, Bruce.
I want to thank everybody again for welcoming me so warmly to the congregation. I am, as many of you met me before my last trip to Israel, which I just came back from. I was wondering, if our speaker could talk a little bit about UNRWA. I don't know, the UN relief.
UNRWA.
In my opinion, it's an imposter organization, but I'll let you speak to it if you can.
UNRWA, it was established to take care of the Palestinian refugees all over the Middle East, not only in Gaza. It's also in Jordan, East Jerusalem, West Bank.
He's talking to me. Sorry.
He doesn't want you to ask questions, huh? Are you problematic usually? That's the reason he's doing it? I think he's sending you a message. But I'm going to hear your question in any case. I'm not going to leave before I will answer your question. So UNRWA, turns out, Gaza, okay? Gaza Strip. 12 employees participated in October 7. That's hard evidence. They acknowledge it, even the UNRWA guys. More than that, actually. No, they acknowledge 12, okay? Which is enough. Second, now as you see all the army going into Gaza, every UNRWA camp, every UNRWA place, it's a headquarters of terrorism. Every headquarters, like every UNRWA, school, food shelter, I don't know, whatever you want, for Hamas. Meaning the millions and hundreds of millions that everybody gave to UNRWA each year went to Hamas.
I think it's important to mention that the letters have United Nations in them. It's UNRWA.
Yeah.
So it masquerades as a sub-organization. It's already tainted.
Let me tell you something about the UN, okay? I don't want to get in trouble with the UN. Not that I care, but
I will.
Okay. They're not doing nothing. It's a weird organization that was founded after World War II for a good reason, by the way, but lost its way many years ago. Many years ago. If they put, I think it was they have a lot of committees, committee. They have a committee of children rights or human rights. They put the Syrians on it to lead the Syrians.
I thought the Iranians were.
No, before the Syrians that butchered, 1 million Syrians. But as an Israeli, we don't care. Really. We don't take them seriously. I know you guys are maybe, but we don't. Yeah.
The Temple Mount, usually
Now I understand
controlled
why he
by the
doesn't.
Palestinians.
He wants to start World War III. Yeah.
How is that working out right now during the wartime? Are the Palestinians there?
It's the same. Like there is a status quo from the 6 Days War, 67, when we took back Jerusalem and the Western Wall, and the Moshe Dayan, familiar with the name, did a strategic mistake, by the way, strategic between us. He decided that the Western Wall is for the Jews, but the Temple Mountain, they will give it to the Muslims. And the Jordanian will take care of it. Now, in 67, you don't have YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. You could push, everybody out and keep it in Israeli. Even though Israel is responsible, but it's very complicated. But nothing changed. I know the Palestinians are Al-Aqsa. Al-Aqsa, it's a narrative. Every house in Gaza has a picture of Al-Aqsa. Al-Aqsa is the Temple Mountain in Arabic. Okay, they call it Tufan Al-Aqsa, meaning the flood of Al-Aqsa, the war. But Palestinians or Muslims can go and pray every day. I don't know if you guys see the news probably of this minister going up and doing all this mess. It's all the left media in Israel making the fake news about it. It's not a big deal. Something happened, nothing happened, right? Still going. Ramadan they went, everybody were happy. The Israelis were, let's say, much more stronger in security-wise, not to let them do riots and stuff, because they usually do it in Ramadan, which is the month that the Muslims are fasting. And you know why the Muslims are fasting for Ramadan for a month? This is a racist joke, but I'm going to tell you. Abraham went up to God and told him, God, we love you. We want to worship you. Give us a date. We want to fast. So God gave him a date, Yom Kippur. The Muslims saw it, said Muhammad, go ask him. We want to fast also, like the uncles. So Muhammad went up, said, hey God, we love you. We want to worship you. Give us a date. Muhammad went down to his people. They asked him, what's the date? Forgot. Let's do the whole month. Oh, I want to say racist joke doesn't work here. Okay. Israelis are very racist, by the way. You'll be surprised to know. Seriously. Which is weird, but it is.
So over here,
Yeah.
the Lebanese people are suffering a lot under they have Hamas like a second state within their state.
Hezbollah, you mean Hezbollah?
I'm sorry, Hezbollah,
You're talking about Lebanon or Gaza?
Lebanon.
Lebanon, okay.
Yeah, the Lebanese people. So I was wondering, what is the relationship now between Israel and the Lebanese people, and between Israel and the Jordanians?
First of all, Lebanon is a very complicated place. 40% of them are Shia, Muslim Shia, which is Hezbollah. They have 50% Christians with all kind of streams, which some of them are with Hezbollah, some of them are not. The majority are not. And they have 10% Druze and other minorities. So when you say the Lebanese people, it's not, there is groups in the Lebanon, that Hezbollah is almost 50% of them. Right. We don't have any relationship with Lebanon, it's an enemy state. As we said, enemy state that allowing a terror organization to shoot missiles on us. But Israel, it doesn't attack Lebanon as a state, like the infrastructure or why? Because we think we're going to play to the hands of Hezbollah. Why? Hezbollah wants us to do it. Hezbollah is one of the arms of the Iranian regime, okay? They have Hezbollah in Lebanon, they have Hamas in Gaza, they're going to lose Hamas. They have the Houthis, the Yemen, that we all been all surprised that we have the Houthis now shooting missiles on us 2,000 kilometers. Who knew about them? And we have the Iranian pro-militia in Syria. It's a very complicated neighborhood. But it's all controlled by Iran. Hezbollah wants to take over Lebanon. Wants to make it like a Shia state, like Iran. Now, if Israel will attack Lebanon, for instance, take it back 50 years ago, because if we attack the infrastructure, for instance, then Hezbollah can take over with the dawah. You know what's dawah? I don't know if I said dawah in English. Charity. They have a very charity system. Like people, if they are poor, they can come to Hezbollah. So we don't have any relationship with Lebanon. We had in the past when we were there, but it was very complicated. Because Lebanon, it's a very complicated place. It's very diverse. It's not like one nation. It's those guys, those guys, those guys. Yes.
Hello, thank you for your time, for being here. Iran recently came out and made a threat. Do you believe that threat is an honest threat?
Iran.
Or do you think they're just trying to play, keep their name in the media? Thank you for answering my question.
It's not an honest threat because they didn't do nothing. You know, what happened between us? The head of Hamas, political Hamas, died in a bomb explosion in Tehran. It's a bomb. It's not a missile. Not like someone came. Someone came inside secretly, put a bomb. Who said it's the Israelis? Maybe they do it. So as a country, you go and attack a country because someone put a bomb? It doesn't work this way. But because of domestic things they had, they said, we're going to retire. They didn't do nothing. Why? And this is a good point for the American administration, this current one. He sent like a third of the Navy to the Middle East, which is a big force. And then now Iran wants to have a nuclear weapon. They're working on the program for years. And they know if they will do something now, if they will shoot missiles now to Israel, Israel probably will take out their nuclear facilities. So they don't, the Iranians are very clever people, very patient. It's not in their interest to do anything. They just talk and talk and talk. Also, Hezbollah doesn't want to engage a war, but who cares? I'm telling you, if we don't finish October 7, like the ending picture will be Hezbollah on his knees and Israel attack all the nuclear facilities of Iran, we lost. We lost a strategic opportunity that will not come back. That's my opinion. Why? Imagine if Iran has a nuclear weapon. Imagine October 7 if Iran has a nuclear weapon. What will happen? I don't know. The good thing about being civilian, that I can come here, talk without responsibility. Authority without responsibility.
Marco,
Let's see.
I'm sorry. To your knowledge, or to the knowledge of those whom you know, how close is Iran to being nuclear capable?
They say very close. A matter of weeks, months. You know, nuclear Iran, it's two things. One, you have the uranium, like that's the material they have for the bomb. They are now in 60%. They need to get to 90. From 60 to 90, it's a fast ride. It's very quick. The second thing you need, it's a weapon. Like you need a unique weapon to put on a bomb that you put the uranium and it will be a nuclear bomb. The weapon, that's the thing they are working on, and they say what I hear and read that they are very close to it.
Okay.
Now, sorry, I have to say it, but the Biden administration helped Iran in this thing. Gave him $90 billion every year by lifting the restrictions on the oil. Yeah, that's, you know, there is a difference between what Obama thinks, Biden, NNN, and Republicans thinks. Each have, if I ask the Biden administration, they will say, no, it's not a big deal. It will take time, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Okay, I have a question. What is the situation with Russia on the Hamas, and also I think they have dealings with Iran, from what I understand. How true is that, or what's going on that?
How involved is Russia with Hamas and Iran?
No, Russia is not involved with Hamas. No. Russia is very involved with Iran because there is the line of, like they say, Russia, Iran, China, North Korea against the good people. Yeah.
Hi. I have a few Israeli friends, and one of the things you use some similar terms. You say it's complicated. They say it's complicated. Is that hyperbole, really? Is it really that complicated?
It's not complicated. No, it's a phrase. When an Israeli guy doesn't want to answer, he says it's complicated. So when your Israeli friends say it's complicated, they know they're messing around with you. Don't tell them I told you that, okay?
Shalom. So on October 7th, Hamas broke a treaty that was in place. What is Israel's plan once they go in and this is all done and over with? What is Israel's thought about how they're going to control that land? Are they going to continue to give it over to Palestinians or whoever? What is the plan after
You
this is all
talk
said
the
and done?
day after.
That's correct.
Okay. The day after, it's an example for fake narrative. That's a beautiful example for fake narrative. When we started the war, everybody started to ask, what about the day after? In World War II, when America went to war against Nazis, they asked about the day after? You don't ask about the day after. First of all, you finish the problem. Eliminate it, because they are Nazis, the Hamas. Then you can deal without the day after, with the day after. The day after was a narrative, a fake one, that was like a dispute about. Israel said the day after will look. There is Gaza Strip. The IDF is controlling the Gaza Strip security, like you hear in the West Bank now, going in, going out, will be the same. Why? So they will not, build themselves again and October 7. Who will run the civil life? It's a question that there isn't any answer. Probably the Israeli army will have to deal with it for the first years, until we will find, as a country, someone that we can trust that will do a good job managing in it. It can be 50 years, but in person, I don't care. First of all, let's eliminate Hamas, and then we take care about that. I know this administration talks a lot about the day after. It's fake, because he wants to put the Palestinian Authority in it. Now, it's the same Palestinian Authority that in the West Bank is paying salaries to terrorists that bomb themselves in Israel. Listen to the crazy thing. We, Israeli government, will give every month money to the Palestinian Authority, which is tax agreement, okay? Oslo agreement, there is a tax agreement, so we give them the VAT. Let's not get into it, we give them money, okay? They are taking this money, sponsoring terror. Now you tell me it's that crazy or not. Now, after the war, we will go to election. It will be an election in Israel. And then people should decide. This leader will come, will say, I see the day after in Gaza in this method. This leader will say, I see the day in Gaza in this method. And people will vote for it, That will be the election, by the way. Hopefully, if we finish the north before. But the day after in Gaza will be after the war. But in any case, the army will have to run it for a couple of years. Now, there is some, I don't know how many years, but there is some, like right wing say, we want to do the settlements again. But that's political. We go to election for that. Wrong, right, who cares? It's a democratic country. Let's see what will happen.
Marco, can you talk a little bit more about what the Israeli army is doing in and with Judea and Samaria, the West Bank? There's almost daily operations, right? Can you talk about that?
Thank you for that. Before October 7, the Israeli army was relying on the Palestinian security agencies 100% to do the job, fighting the terrorists, okay? They didn't do nothing about it. Like there's places, like villages in the West Bank, Jenin, Nablus, Tulkarem, I don't know if those names tell you something, but it's big cities. No one went in, and terror was inside. From October 7, the army changes diskette, as we say, and start dealing with the terror problems in the West Bank. It happens on a daily basis. Till now, there is like 800 terrorists dead from the West Bank, and thousands are prisoners. Like the army every night. The reason October 7 didn't happen in the West Bank, it's only because they didn't have the capability to do it. They had the will to do it. We know it now, but they didn't have the capability to do it. Why? Because the army is pretty deployed in the West Bank, and there is the settlement, so that's the reason it didn't happen. So the army is working every night. It's under the radar, it doesn't get a lot of attention, but good thing, Jason, you said it, because it happened every night. And the same protocol you see in the West Bank gonna happen in Gaza. Like after the war, we will wake up in the morning, okay, this brigade went into Khan Yunis, did that, get out. That will be there. For years, by the way, years. It will take, until we get the last Hamas, at least 10 years. And then will be a new Hamas and a new terror organization. They call themselves, I don't know, PETA. They have this, they change the names from time to time, but it's the same thing. Really. Look upon history, it's the same. Once it's the Palestinians and one. Unfortunately, we probably will have to live on our soul for years. Yes, ma'am.
Could you give a brief summary of the what's happened over the years, the decades, with the different countries funding Hamas and these terrorists? Like, I just finished a book that said that Saudi Arabia gives Hamas a lot of money for the families of the terrorists that died, and I read that they've been given billions and billions and billions of dollars over the decades, and they have little to nothing to show for except tunnels under the ground, and a bunch of rich Hamas and PLO people living in Jordan, billionaires.
Qatar. You know how much money Ismail Haniyeh, that was killed in Iran, has in his bank account? $4 billion in Turkey. I have nothing bad to say about any country that gave Hamas money, because we gave them also. That's the reality. We didn't give them, we arranged it with the Qatarian to give it to them. So Saudi Arabia, there are Muslims taking care of Muslims. That's legit for me. We had a problem. We gave them money. We allowed Qatar to take cash, by the way, in suitcases, 40 million, 50 million each month as salaries to the employees, but it was in an Israeli authorization. By the way, left-wing and mostly right-wing governments did that. That's part of the conceptions that we talk about in Israel. So what do I say about those guys that came in? We did that. We were wrong. Even though if you ask the politician, they will tell you, they were wrong. Israel, for 20 years, went in a wrong strategic path regarding Hamas. In the end, it blew up on us on October 7th. That's called the conception. Because we thought if you give them money and they will have a good life. By the way, Gaza was beautiful. Listen, was beautiful before the war. If you see the waterfront, amazing. I'm telling you, amazing. Much more better than the West Bank. But they don't care about it. That naive people said, hey, let's give them money, they will have a good life and economy, and they will have business. That people doesn't understand nothing about faith and religious. Once someone puts religious between you and me as a dispute, there isn't any solution. Never will be. Never will be. Because, you guys are people of faith. You can understand it. I can mess around with you with everything except of faith. Right? That's it. There's someone here, Jason.
I just wanted to say about when you said having someone honest, you have God. God will protect your country.
Amen.
My question was, for you to come here to the United States, what is the message that you want to give to us that we can spread to other Christians and believers?
Yeah. I don't want to say it's complicated, but it's not. It's not complicated. The message should be that in these days, Israelis need the global Christian community standing with them. Especially these days. And especially the days after the war. By the way, not only on this level, on any level, political level. It's not you guys, but there are others that are doing it. But that's the test. Because we were feeling, and Israelis, I don't know if how much you know about Israelis, we are very proud. We think the sun is rising from our ass. That's Israeli, really. It's a very small country, but they think they control the world. That everybody cares about Israel, and in the end it's like New Jersey. But Israelis are broken now, really. Thank you.
Yeah. Is there like a theory on the motivation of Hamas? I mean, why now? There's billions of dollars flowing in, and obviously they knew the ramifications of the attack. What on earth were they thinking? Why now?
Listen, my only advice to you, read the Quran. It's their book. Understand it, you get all your answers. They follow their book like you follow your book. It's very easy. You think like a Western. We think like Westerns, okay? They don't think like that. It's very simple. They had everything, you're right. Instead, they decided. By the way, when Sinwar launched the attack, Sinwar is the military leader of Hamas, he knew that he's going to kill his people. He knew that. He knew that Israel will jump on it. And he did it. What you and me thinks logic, it's not their set of minds. It's the same like ISIS. It's the same like why Al-Qaeda came and blew up 9/11. Why? They came to America, the land of the opportunities, they got the green card, good life. Why to do it? Why? It's easy. It's written. Just listen and understand what they're saying. By the way, they said it all the way. Hamas. If you go rewind with the videos, everything that happened on October 7 was online. Everything.
Hi. I have to stand so you can see me. So far that I have heard two words from you, complicated and I don't care. I know the last one is a joke. But I have two things that I want to, first I want to ask, and I have a request if I can be a little bit more of it. Since this is a Q&A, I'm going to put it in a Q&A, that I just want to know if the people of Israel have an idea at all that we Christians are constantly praying for you guys, for your needs and for your safety, because we understand and we have totally understand that what is God's will for you guys. And because God loves you so much, you are the apple of his eye, and so we love you too. And we are always in prayer with our hearts. Seriously, we are very, very sad and we're heartbroken for what is going on. But can you please also relate to your people that even though the whole world, it seems that everybody's against them, we Christians are always by your side with all the prayers in our hearts. And we are very, very sorry that it has to come into a point where innocent children also has to be in between this war. But I just want you to tell them when you go back that even if they feel that all over the world is against them, there are people that are constantly, seriously praying for you guys, because God loves you so much and we love you for that one. Thank you.
%95 of the Israelis don't know that, maybe more. And Genesis is the reason that I want you to come to Israel and sell it by yourself. Easy. You can do it if you have meaningful relationship, if you have dinner, or if you work in a project with the Israelis, you can share that with them. I'm not a good messenger. I'm not, really. You will be much more better than me, believe me. Thank you.
Amen.
So you've talked a lot about the other countries, Lebanon and Gaza, Iran, but what's going on with Egypt?
Ernie, this place is hard. Remind me when to come here again?
Just shows you that we're real friends now.
No, I'm really amazed that you guys are very involved on the surrounding. Egypt has a peace agreement with Israel from the 70s. It's a cold peace agreement. The problem with the Egyptians that they allowed Hamas to build tunnels like the Lincoln tunnels in New York City between Egypt and Gaza. They knew about it. It was under their authorization. They got money on it. Assisi, which is the Egyptian leader, his son has a company that was involved in it. Don't be published. I'm not giving you secrets. But if you ask some of the Israelis, will tell you, listen, the peace with Egypt is very important, which is very important because it's a big army and it's very complicated. But the Egyptians are not on our side, okay? The Jordanians are not on our side. Don't be mistaken. The Lebanese for sure. And we left with the Mediterranean Sea that maybe he's on our side.
Hi, my name is Orly. I'm an Israeli.
I can see that.
Where is the lady who just spoke? What is your name? Hi, Joyce. So regarding to what you said, I was very touched. I had goosebumps. I mean, I adopted Jason as my brother, and Colleen has been my sister forever, and this is my 3rd time visiting your congregation. Thank you, Toda. To share something with you and with you as a congregation, as Christians who really care about Israel and the Jews and what we went through. February and March, I went with, can you hear me? I went with 3 of my friends
Come
here.
So they can see you. Oh yeah, pop up. Yeah. Yeah, it's all recorded, whatever you say.
Okay. Complicated. I love this guy. Dude, he's a true Israeli. I've been here for 44 years. I'm mellowed out. Yeah. So to what you said, ma'am, I've experienced the most amazing experience of my life. Born and raised in Israel, even though I'm in the United States for 40 years. I have a huge family in Israel. October 7th happened. What can I... You told me.
If you go right by the stage or stand, you're good.
What can I do? So 4 of us from Henderson happen to be Jews, we're going to go volunteer in Israel. Because Israel agriculture was dying after October 7th because they took most of our foreign workers, especially the Thai workers, back to Thailand. So they said, we need you to come to the desert, where he showed you on the map the area of Gaza, Egypt. Right around that corner, there is a ton of agriculture. And the shock of my life, the first day we got there, there were so many people there, but we were only 4 Jews. There was over 2,000 volunteer Christians, just like each one of you. And I was like, what the hell are you guys doing here? Because we were not in the Ritz-Carlton. We were staying in big tents with 150 people sleeping on mattresses next to each other, bathroom showers outside. There are people your ages. There are people who sold their homes, sold the cars to come to Israel and help. I said, but why? We were a minority. We were 4 Jews with a few thousand volunteers who were Christian from Germany, which was my first shock because my mom is a Holocaust survivor. What are all the Germans are doing here? So most of them were German, Finland, Holland, Austria, London, I mean, from all over. And they said, we're here for you. You people are the chosen people. Chosen of what? They gave me a good lesson about Christianity. And Jason has been, bringing me up to date on all the good stuff. I had goosebumps. They were singing songs in Hebrew. They were praying in Hebrew, and they were Christians. And I was shocked. They'll get up at 8 in the morning. People in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. I mean, I'm not talking about the 20, 30-year-old, because most of them probably could afford it or whatever. They already lived their life, and they were there to support us. And it was just amazing for a little piece of bread in the morning, a hard-boiled egg, and they were on their knees for 8 hours a day, picking up radishes, lettuce, tomatoes, avocados, whatever there was. And they were so humbled, and they were so happy, and they prayed with us every day. I'm telling you, I'm like, I just want to thank each one of you that you really care about us. Not just as Jews, as Israeli, as a nation. It's important to you. And it's very touching for me that it's important to you. So, if you ever want to go to Israel, and you want to go volunteer, there's so much to do, not just in agriculture, in your own profession. If you build, if you're in therapy, if you're just want to help in a hospital with the wounded or the people who are hurt, if you want to work with the refugees, if you want to work, whatever you want to do, if you just have the feeling of a caregiver, whatever it is that you want to do, there's a place for you there. And if you ever want to do that and go on a great experience to volunteer in Israel, Jason knows where to find me.
Absolutely.
I'll be happy to take you. And there's another lady back there. Miss Stephanie too, huh?
Yeah.
She's very involved in the Jewish community, and if you need any information, talk to this lady. But thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting.
A short thing. Orly was sharing how personally she is very thankful for Christian love and solidarity and support. She's inviting us to join her to go because she has been to go and to work and to serve and to come alongside them. There are numerous opportunities that she touched on some of them, but there are things that you can go do in the trades, skilled work, fixing things, building things, etc. There is less skilled work, which is what I would be doing, which is working in the fields, helping people with their harvests, all those kinds of reasons that it's just labor because there isn't anyone there available for numerous reasons. They don't have workers like that available. So coming alongside them. But something that's really important that has been mentioned more than once is the importance of coming alongside and being a tangible support in helping in instances like that. But anybody can do that. The deeper thing, Marco was touching on it, is the relationship. Because I love Orly. And I love Joel. And I love Marco. And I love all you guys, actually. Some more than others. But, well, I like some of you more than others. I love all of you the same. But it is the relationship that is that lasting, important thing. And that's what makes the work meaningful, rather than having a robot or a monkey come and do the work. It's someone who actually loves you, wants to do the work because I care about you. I care about your family. I care about your farm. And so it's those relationships that matter. Joel wanted to come and share, especially off of what Orly was sharing.
And can everybody hear me? I echo it, Orly. And I'm thrilled to meet you tonight and everybody else. This is my second time here. I want to first share the fact that I just got back from Israel 10 days ago. It was my second time there this year. I did all kinds of volunteer work. I did not work on a farm, but I want to share a little story, though, about many of the other volunteers I've met, and a number of them are Christians from different countries. Miriam, who was attended on the live stream when you had Joel Richardson here, the author. She's from Sweden. She's a very good friend of mine. I know a man named Constantine from Germany. I know this amazing woman named Ifya from Amsterdam. Anyway, Miriam asked me one Friday night, which is when Jews go to services, to go with her. She's an evangelical Christian, but she likes the Messianic service that they have in Tel Aviv. So she asked me if I'd go with her. Now, I'm somewhat of a lapsed Jew. I kind of had taken a break for 45 years. October 7th was my wake-up call. Started studying Hebrew all over again, and even before I got back to Israel in March. Anyway, Miriam asked me to go with her, and I never seen a service like this before, because it wasn't like, it was none of the prayers I was familiar with. It was almost like, and they had a whole band. It was very, like, amazing, and all the songs, and they had big TV monitors with both the Hebrew and English translations. And I think most of you probably know that Jesus in Hebrew is Yeshua. My Hebrew name is Yehoshua. So at the end of the service, people were coming over to me and asked me, "What did you think of the service?" And I said, "You all were singing my name the whole time. How could I not enjoy it?" So my nickname in Hebrew is Yoshi. I actually like being called Yoshi when it's a nickname of Yeshua. Anyway, I started doing all kinds of volunteer work. I'm one of these crazy people who rented a car. I drove soldiers all over the country. Like, there was a soldier in the Golan, which I'd been to a few times. Very incredible young man, 21 years old. He was what we call a lone soldier from Canada. His family was Israeli, Canadian-Israeli. He had some different issues. He was very dyslexic. He got confused about things easily. Now, this soldier was on base 5 or 6 days a week. On the day he was off duty, he worked at a children's camp in Jerusalem. And he made packs of like goodie bags with energy drinks and candy bars and all kinds of things. And in addition to these packets, and this is something I want to just gauge the audience here tonight, if this is something you guys would do, I started my own organization. And one of the things we do is we have a campaign called Notes to Soldiers. The soldiers love everything we send over to them, the money, the products they need, but nothing makes their faces light up like the handwritten notes. So I had groups of people all over Israel writing notes, other volunteers and Jews, non-Jews. And then I had people who, when they went back to their home countries, I have a woman in Amsterdam, She's got her coffee club every week. They all sit down and write a bunch of handwritten notes. You don't have to write about the war. You can tell them if you can have your kids write. They can draw pictures. We try doing things with emails and scans. It's okay, but it's not the same. So if we can get a bunch of people to write notes, we gather them up, we put them in an envelope, we mail them off to somebody either in Tel Aviv or Jerusalem, and then these notes get attached to Shabbat meals that go out on Fridays. I did a lot of Friday deliveries. I've been all over the West Bank, places that when I told friends at home, places I had been, they were like, how could you go there? Did you feel scared? And I was like, I feel brave when I'm in Israel. Don't ask me why. But anyway, so I know I've gotten off track here a little bit, but I'm planning another trip. I'm not exactly sure when. I'm also trying to share my experiences a little bit more formally because I've done a million things, and I'm no one special. I could introduce you to people who've done far more than I have. But there are ways for our friends, our communities abroad to help. So the Notes to Soldiers is just one of the ways. Another program is high school students in Israel. They have better chances with universities and careers if they speak fluent English. So there's a program called Israel Today. I'll have more information, which I'll pass along to Jason later this week. But you don't have to speak Hebrew. It's an online class once a week. You work with a teenager, somebody who needs to learn English, and it's done over Zoom, and it helps them with their educational skills. So there's other things too. If any of you know anything about writing grant applications, there's a lot of money in Las Vegas. There's some Jewish philanthropies, the Adelsons, etc. We need people who can write grant applications because we need big bucks, to be honest, for so many things. Soldiers need ceramic plates. They're sharing them. One group comes out of Gaza. They take out their armor. They give it to the next guy. It's shocking because there's so much. Anyway, it's not worth going into all the details why that is, but I know many soldiers. Last night when the bombs were going off again, I mean, I'm on a WhatsApp group. I'm like messaging all my, I must know a dozen soldiers personally from all over the country. And you worry about them when you know them personally. You worry about your friends, all the other Israelis. I've been inside homes in skyscrapers. I've been inside homes on kibbutzim. I've been to the Gaza border at least twice a week for 10 weeks. There's places down by the Gaza border for the soldiers. We volunteer and do things. We went out to a farm one day where they had just discovered what looked like a new tunnel that was being, a farmer was like tilling his land and found this soft spot, and the whole army, well, I guess they have an institution in the army who comes out immediately with the Geiger counters and the size, whatever the equipment is, and they found that there was the beginnings of it, and this was like a mile, or not a mile, but like maybe a kilometer in from the Gaza border into Israel already. So this was just a few months ago. Anyway, I just want to say hello, and I didn't mean to talk this long, but I really do feel very welcome and appreciative for the invitation to come here tonight. Thank you.
What Marco has talked about, what Orly has talked about, what Joel has talked about is an encouragement to us, I hope, because there are opportunities absolutely across the board and back across again of all kinds of categories in which we can be of service. And this is something that's my heart, that's our heart here. For those of you that call this place home, we talk about it a lot, especially recently. And so this is a 100% God thing. That is taking place, and the connections and relationships that can be built. And so there are ways that we can support Israelis in the land, and there are relationships and ways that we can support Israelis and Jewish people generally who are also a lot closer to home, like these two new friends of mine that God has blessed me with.
Arnie.
So Marco is back up.
Yeah, I want Arnie for a minute.
Ernie's coming up.
Oh, Ernie. I said Arnie.
Arnie?
My accent.
Ernesto.
Guys, go online. If you have any question, that's your guy. we need bodies on the ground, so register yourself, send your kids, grandkids, neighbors, so we have a data, and then once we roll, we'll be ready to roll. Okay? Thank you for hosting us. Thank you, Jason.
Ernie,
You wanna
can
say
I
something?
thank you, Marco? Can I have you share about your trip for a couple minutes as an example? You can come right up to the middle, my friend.
Aloha, guys. For anyone that don't know me, I'm Ernie. I lived here for the last 7 years. I actually moved back home to Hawaii, where I was born and raised. So I came up to met Marco right before October 7th, and we were scheduled to come up and put together what crisis response looked like, and obviously now we're in crisis response mode. So I got to go up about a month ago and spent a week, planning out what the Genesis project is going to look like. I got to experience all these different borders, met with mayors in different communities that Marco was able to bring us into, and pick up the needs that all these places have. For myself, as a believer in Yeshua, I got to go into places that, most people would say, why you went there, why you in here, why did you go there, and all these places. But keep it really short, Marco was able to bring us into places that touch me personally. It was hard to go into where October 7th happened.
Nova.
The Nova Festival happened. We went into and met with hostage families in different areas. It became real to me that we live here in America. We get to say that we're Christians. We get to say that we love the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We love the God of Israel. But to be there in the land and to be with the people, building these relationships is, number one, the most important thing for me personally. It became real. I then stayed a week there and experienced everything in that area. And I ended up canceling my flight, and I stayed there with my backpack for a month and a half. A congregation there that back at home, my pastor Dave, my wife, 3 others, we met an Israeli girl. Her name was Rebecca. She was able to take us and go and see a bunch of different projects, meet different people. We've got to meet and stay with families, organizations, different things. I love Marco and his heart for his people and how he's partnered up with us. We say, yeah, we can go out there and do this, and this. And I was like, okay, here's the access, here's the way. I want you guys to come and do things with it. So I've experienced everything from the north to Mitzvah Mona on the other side, in Tel Aviv, all these different places. And I got to feel the different, like he always says, it's complicated. Every Israeli that I met in the time, had a different perspective to certain things. And all that aside, the biggest thing was I had Shabbat dinners at every house I went to. I had Shabbat with Marco and his family. They took us in as a group. Others came from different places, and that was important, and that was everlasting. That will last forever. I can't wait to go back and have dinner with them, and walking around with a shirt that said Hawaii, because my beard was big, so I could either be either way, Israeli or whatever. So I had this big Hawaii shirt, but then again, like Marco said, everyone there is broken. I didn't have to do anything, really, honestly, but show up. And they said, wow, you and your team. And I remember, 6, 7 of us that showed up. You guys showed up. We showed up. We got on the plane, and we got to stay with Marco. And then on the other end, we met Rebecca, and she said, wow, you guys showed up, and we were working on olive trees and doing things but we showed up. We showed up, and we're there, and we stand side by side with this. And, this Genesis project is giving us an opportunity to have real relationship, to be able to sow into something that is there, that God has brought together a group of people to put a platform in order to give or to be their boots on the ground, whichever way. And, I just thank God that I have an opportunity to have that relationship with Marco and his family and the others that has come. And for the other Israelis here, love you guys. And however that looks and however that goes, whichever direction, I believe God will bring all that together. But, a lot more detail in that, but I just wanted to put all that in a quick little nutshell. And thank you guys for having us here and having me here. And I love Jason and all you guys here.
At the risk of making it weird and having people stand out in a crowd, although most of them that are this have already stood up, I would like every Jewish person in the room to stand. By blood. Okay. Stephanie, and your mom's name? Linda, Orly, Joel, Marco. And Lucille. Okay, please stay standing. This is not going to get any weirder than this. So now I'm talking to my Christian brothers and sisters, okay? These that are standing are individuals whom we love in the name of God, and they stand representing all of them, whom we say that we love. You're not short on being challenged here from time to time, so here's another one. Put your money, your effort, your time, your resources where your mouth is. Agreed? We can say one thing. Jesus had some things to say about lip service and empty claims. Had an opinion, and still does, about hypocrisy and things like that. Let us be followers of Yeshua who are neither hypocrites, nor empty talkers, nor lip servicers, or whatever that word might be. But let us be a people who are the hands and feet that we know that the God of Israel has called us to be. So I want to close our night in prayer for these specific ones, for all that they do, and for all that they represent. All right? So you Christians, we're going to pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, we come before you tonight, and we thank you for our friends. We come before you, Lord, in great faith. We come before you, God, because you're a God of mercy. And if you weren't and aren't, we would have no way to approach you. But you are a merciful, good, gracious. You are a holy and awesome and unrivaled God, and there is none like you. You, Father in heaven, are a covenant-keeping God, and we thank you for this, and we praise you for being a God, the most high God over all. Because you keep covenant, Lord, we can know you. Because you keep covenant, God, we are a people who want to honor you and exalt you and serve you with all of our heart. So, God, I pray that tonight you would build for us and for your sake and for your purposes that you would build for us and among us and with us, Lord, bridges of real friendship and real solidarity and real support that goes beyond platitudes and us giving the Sunday school answer that, of course, we love Israel. But help us to truly do this, Lord. We pray for friendships and we pray for opportunities. We pray for you, God, to open doors for us, Lord, that we would walk in faith and serve you in this way. Father, we know, according to your word, that the hour is near, that time is short. And you have shown us in your word, Lord, that there are times of trouble still to come. We ask, God, that you would help us to be faithful and enduring, and that we would represent you well, because you're worthy. Father, we love you and pray, Lord, that you would work through us and among us in a mighty way. And we thank you for tonight and for the days and nights that will follow, where we will see your hand upon us. We pray for the peace of Jerusalem, that you would strengthen her, show yourself mighty among the people, and continue to glorify yourself in the earth until all of the nations know you. We ask for these things in the name of Yeshua. Amen. Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you, Marco, in particular, for coming tonight and for sharing with us. You have blessed us, and we are the better for it, so thank you so much. The night is going to come to a conclusion in a formal sense. There's still coffee and water. Marco hasn't slept in who knows how long, but at this point, he doesn't care. If it's actually, that's not complicated at all. But feel free to stick around. You do not have to go. In a formal sense, the night is at its conclusion. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you online for joining us. And feel free to stick around, fellowship, get to know some new friends, and God bless your night.